where today we are going to be going over our week predictions for week 1. Throughout the season, we will be giving our predictions every week, and we're obviously going to start off with the first week of the season. Before we get into these predictions, make sure you guys leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also in the comment section, let me know what you agreed with, what you disagree with. Maybe give me a upset pick of the week or a lock of the week, as I will do the same throughout these predictions. But without further ado, let's get into the first game, which is the Thursday night game between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Based on what I'm looking at here, the Chiefs are 3-point favorites going into this one. Now, we all know that the Chiefs lost last year to the Lions in the season opener and ended up winning the Super Bowl. So this game technically doesn't matter. I think it matters a little more because seeding can have an impact in this game. Marquise Brown doesn't look like he's going to play in this game, and neither. There's a chance Rashee Rice might get suspended, even though I would assume that announcement would have been made already if he was. So maybe he gets suspended mid-season. But I know the Chiefs lost last year. I think the Chiefs end up prevailing in this game over the Ravens, and I have them winning by a score of 27-20, covering the spread for the Chiefs. They cover that one. I could definitely, obviously, see the Ravens winning this one. But, unfortunately, I think the Chiefs are just too good. And at the moment, it doesn't look like anyone can stop them overall. Obviously, they can lose games. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs winning the season opener. Then we get the Friday night matchup in Brazil between the Packers and the Eagles. Eagles are 2.5-point favorites in this one. I picked the favorite in the Chiefs-Ravens game, and I'm actually going to pick the Packers to upset the Eagles here, 31-27. I don't know. I feel like the Eagles, I don't know how to feel about the Eagles because they always have good regular season success. They made that Super Bowl a couple years ago. But I just feel like this is the game that they will drop. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling. Neutral site as well, so this isn't really a home game for the Eagles. And I got the Packers winning this one by 4. Next, we get into the afternoon games, or the noon games on Sunday. First game we have is Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. Atlanta is 3.5-point favorites, and I do think they end up winning this game. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, new quarterbacks, new teams. I think the Falcons just have that slight edge. I like both defenses, so I have it being a low-scoring game. I have the Falcons winning 17-10. Then we get into arguably my most favorite 12 o'clock non-primetime game, and that is the Bills versus the Cardinals. Bills are 6-point favorites going into this game. Obviously, the Bills are looking to contend for a Super Bowl, despite their loss of Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. They still bring in quality guys like Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel, and you still obviously have Josh Allen. So obviously they're expected to win this game, but I do like the Cardinals overall this season. I think the Cardinals will be a sneaky team that can potentially get in the playoffs. However, I do have the Bills winning this one, a high-scoring game, 34-24 in the favor of the Bills. Now we move on to the Titans at Bears. Caleb Williams' first game. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure first overall picks don't have the best track record in their first game. So I'm actually going to pick the Titans to upset the Bears in, I guess, technically my upset of the week. How I determine this is the biggest underdog that I pick to win is the upset of the week, essentially. I'm going with the Titans over the Bears in a close one, 21-20 at Soldier Field. I just think the first overall pick quarterbacks, I know Caleb Williams is a generational prospect, and he's going into one of the best situations a first overall pick can go into. But I low-key like the Titans team. Going into, or when the offseason, when the first part of the offseason kind of concluded, I didn't really like the Titans team. But I kind of like the pickups they've made. and I've kind of increased my likeness of the Titans over this training camp, and I have them upsetting the Bears in Week 1. Then we move on to Patriots Bengals. Bengals are actually 9-point favorites. This might be the biggest spread of the week, but I'm still gonna pick the Bengals, but I am actually gonna pick them in a close game here, 20-16. Joe Burrow and the Bengals don't have the best track record at the beginning of the season. Patriots I think they still have a pretty decent defense. I know they lost Matthew Judon, but I still like some of the pieces they have on defense, including Christian Gonzalez. And I just think they'll be able to make this a low-scoring game. They'll be able to stay in it due to potentially the Bengals' lack of success at the beginning of the season. But I think the overall talent of the Bengals will allow them to win this one, despite it being a close game in Cincinnati. Then we move on to a division game between the Texans and the Colts. Obviously, the Texans coming off of their incredible season, and then you have the Colts with Anthony Richardson, who had that up and down preseason debut, but to start off his regular season last year, the 5 games, I believe it was 5 games he played, he was pretty good. These two teams fighting for that AFC South title, even though I think all 4 teams could honestly win the division. But I have the Texans winning this one in a shootout type of game, 31-27 in favor of the Texans, covering that 2.5-point spread that the Texans are favored by. But I think this will be one of the better games of the non-primetime games, along with the Bills-Cardinals game. Then we move on to Jags-Dolphins. Just like I mentioned how I think any team can win the AFC South, I think that applies to the Jags as well. I actually like the Jags team, but I think this is just a tough matchup. They're going into Miami. I believe the Dolphins tend to play very well in Miami. I know Jacksonville is used to the weather of Florida, but I just think the Miami home field advantage, I'm pretty sure Waddle and Hill are playing. I think I saw that they haven't had any setbacks recently in practice. I think people were concerned about if they were going to play or not. But I think the Dolphins win in a high-scoring game, 38-28 over the Jags. But I do like the Jags in general for this season. I just think this matchup's a little tough for Week 1. Then we move on to my Panthers playing the Saints. Not necessarily the most exciting game going into the week. Division game, always important, I guess, especially the NFC South, which could be very competitive potentially. I know the Falcons, they are the guys, but I still think this could be a competitive division. Whether it's good or not, I still think it will be competitive. And this may be biased, but I have the Panthers winning 20-14 in potentially not the most exciting game. Then we get Vikings Giants. These two teams have interesting, let's say, quarterback situations. I just like Sam Darnold a little bit better than Daniel Jones, especially given the situations they're in. So I have the Vikings winning this one 17-14. Moving on to Raiders Chargers, another maybe not the most exciting game, even though obviously you have Justin Herbert. And I actually like I think Quentin Johnston, it may not be a big step, but I think he takes a little bit of a step up. They have Ladd McConkey. You have Harbaugh. You have what I think could be a pretty good run game. I think Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, or Gardner Minshew's going to play here. I just don't love the Raiders. I know they got guys like Adams and Crosby and Christian Wilkins and even Nate Hobbs. But I have the Chargers taking this one. This is mainly I know the Chargers don't really have a ton of fans, but this is mainly a home field thing. I'll give Chargers a 30-21 win over the Raiders. Let me move on to the battle of Russell Wilson former teams. The Super Bowl rematch from a little bit ago. we have Broncos at Seahawks. I'm not too big on the Broncos this year. I don't think many people necessarily are. And I think the Seahawks will, as per usual, be a decent team. They always seem to just kind of be like the Steelers. They always manage to get around a 500 record. So I think the Seahawks, not necessarily score-wise, but I think they easily take care of business versus the Broncos, 24-14. Then we move on to, I think this is Tom Brady's first game as a commentator. It's Cowboys-Browns. Now, the Browns are actually favored in this game, which is surprising to me. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, but the Cowboys just have such a good track record of regular season success. You can say what you want about them in the playoffs. They play well in the regular season. They extended CeeDee Lamb. I know they still have the questions of Micah and Dak. I think this could be Dak's last year here. So I think he's going to try and play the best football he can play. And I actually have the Cowboys technically upsetting the Browns here in 28-24. Then we move on to the Commanders at Tampa Bay. Now this game's only a 3-point spread. But I personally think the Bucs win this game kind of easily. I'm not too high on the Commanders. I like Jaden Daniels, of course. Some of the free agent pickups they made were good. Some of them were just veterans. And the Bucs were good last year. I like the Bucs team. This is technically my lock of the week. It's my game I'm most confident in. I have the Bucs winning 31-17 over the Commanders. Then we move on to the Sunday night game, the playoff rematch between Stafford, Goff, the Lions, and the Rams. Lions are 3.5-point favorites. I actually think this is going to be a shootout because if you know about Jared Goff indoors, he's like a top 10 quarterback indoors, and he's like top 20 when he's outside. This is an indoor stadium. I'm pretty sure they play like majority of their games in a dome too. But I have the Lions, just like they did last year, winning the first game of the season in a shootout, 38-31 over the Rams. And lastly but not least, we have our Monday night game between the Jets and the Niners. Aaron Rodgers potentially first game as a Jet. Thought that was going to come last Monday night. I'm pretty sure the game was Monday night. But we will be getting it this year on Monday night versus the Niners. Now, I know it's Aaron Rodgers. He is old. He is coming off of a major injury. But it still is Aaron Rodgers, so I still think the Jets will be good. They have an incredible team around him. But I just think the Niners team is just too also incredible. And I think it's just slightly more talented than the Jets team. And I have the Niners winning 28-21 over the Jets. And that will conclude my my week 1 predictions for the NFL season. Again, in the comment section, let me know what you agreed with, what you disagreed with, and also give me your upset of the week or lock of the week, or just overall predictions. And also make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss more content over here. So we will be doing weekly predictions. We will be breaking down or analyzing every game after the week, and also releasing some power rankings throughout the season and much more. We finally made it to the NFL season, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss all the amazing content that we will be making throughout this season. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.